We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Joy in my house, joy, I got joy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality radio show with a touch of recovery. A reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who shares.
I'm joined here by my co-host and recording artist, Lolita Robinson.
How are you doing today? And
welcome
happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, welcome to another day of Joy in My House.
This is a beautiful day. I'm in the room with a lot of nice-looking gentlemen who love the Lord. And happy Father's Day to them all. Happy Father's Day to you, Van Eric, our producer.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are you doing today on this Father's Day?
You know what? I can't complain.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. The peace and the comfort that I have in my life is priceless.
Right.
Priceless.
The priceless gift of serenity.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I don't worry about tomorrow and I don't live in the past. I'm okay.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of decided that maybe the first part of the show to maybe kind of interview you a little bit.
Yes, it was part of Kathy Taylor's coming on the show.
Yeah.
To do my testimony, and I'll touch on it a little bit, but I never like the spotlight on me. The show is really about
it's got to be if you're the host.
Well, I make myself available and transparent
to
our listeners and viewers because I want you guys to get to know us and to connect with us and relate to us, so we can also hear the part of the joy that you have in your house.
That's right.
Here on this show.
Yeah, and when we first launched the show, we kind of got introduced to me by my testimony.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be good to kind of
touch on me.
Yeah, so where were you born? Your family of origin. We won't do a whole thing, but
my family of origin, I was raised in Los Angeles. My parents were raised Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
My father went to parochial school. My father was one of the first Mexicans to get his master's in physics.
That's amazing.
He's currently a physics professor at East LA College.
Okay.
Got offered jobs at some very prestigious schools, but didn't want to go to those schools and teach. He wanted to teach his people, his raza, he said. So my father's one of my heroes.
I know he is.
That's
He's
why
a really good
happy
man.
Father's Day to my father. He's a great provider, supporter. I remember being in high school and living under my master's roof at his studio. And
now, when you say your master's roof, I know people know that you teach martial arts.
My martial arts master.
And so how old were you when you got with him?
I started training when I was 10 years old.
Goodness.
So I've been training for 26 years of my life.
Wow.
I've been teaching for 21 years of my life.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So your master, kind of
so
like a father too?
Yeah, he was a father figure. He was a SE graduate in philosophy and business. So he taught me the ins and outs of running a business and teaching and being able to speak and philosophize and give a little bit of thought-provoking advice to my students, even at a very young age. At a very young age, I was his protege.
Isn't that beautiful? Now, tell me the name of the martial arts, because it's a mixture of different...
There's different martial arts. I started with the martial art called Hwarangdo, which is a Korean martial arts, one of the oldest martial arts in Korea. It was actually taught to the royal knights of what you call the Shilla dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
And 2,000 years ago, they were at war with 3 other kingdoms, Paekche and Korgoyo, and Shilla conquered both kingdoms and unified Korea under one flag for the first time in history.
Oh my goodness, okay.
So it's a very rich history in Korean folklore of these Hwarang knights.
Okay.
And that's where I started. But I also trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, had an opportunity to go to Brazil and train under, I've been blessed with the amazing instructors that have instructed me in my life.
Right.
But my master had such an influence on me that when I hung out with them, I really started kind of adopting his habits.
Right.
And his teaching skills and all that, and his business sense and his philosophy were good. But when nighttime came, I would party hard.
Okay, now was he a father? I never asked you that. Did he have a family?
No, he had
a wife,
no children. His whole thing was he was a master.
He was a master, and so at night
we would go out.
Nightlife.
Yes, and we would
have a
drink and I remember being very young. I looked up to him.
Yeah, how old were you?
15.
Oh goodness.
Yep. So by the time I was 17, I was running his studio and I was drinking and partying like I was in college. And I had a choice to make. I was going to a very prestigious parochial school, St. John Bosco in Bellflower.
So that must have been quite a battle. Your parents on one end were trying to give you some
structure and education,
and then your master was giving you structure in education, but also introducing you to more worldly things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was a tough grind because I was living two lives. You know, when I was teaching up on our stage, and I teach and I tell these children, I had the students that were called the Power Ranger class. They were 3 to 5 year old kids, and I would have about 30 to 50 per class.
Wow.
And these little kids were little soldiers, and I would tell them, listen to your mom and dad and follow directions. That's the key to success. But then in my nightlife, I did whatever I wanted.
Thing.
So I was saying one thing, but I wasn't practicing
it.
And I think that was confusing to me.
Right.
That was confusing to me. So when I eventually left my master and had my own academy, the habits didn't die.
Right.
And because then I didn't have nobody looking over me, what did I do? I got deeper into my addictions.
Was it kind of like being a rock star?
It was. Let me tell you, when we walked into a restaurant,
there's a lot of power, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
With martial artists, and a lot of attraction to women would come.
Yes.
That'd probably be a big part of it.
Let me put it this way. When we walked into a restaurant, the restaurant would stop. Everybody would stand up and bow.
Wow.
Then everybody, when you told them to sit down, then everybody sat down and continued their day.
Isn't that something?
And people didn't even know my age. They thought I was much older than I was. So to me, it was
so you were
glamorous.
Just good looking, powerful, and partying.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm not making light of it. It's just wonderful how God can get a life and turn it around.
He really
because
did.
With that kind of, you could have been very arrogant and. But
well, at the time I was.
When I met you. You were strong, but there was always a sweetness about you. So I don't know. I didn't know you.
I think
then.
I think it was the foundation of my family, my parents, who really taught me.
Your mother looked like you weren't no king when you went home.
That's
I'm
right.
Sure.
That's right. But getting my girlfriend at the time, I was 17. My girlfriend was 26 at the time. Got pregnant 1 month into the relationship. I had my first child at 18, who's my daughter, who's now 17, gonna be 18.
Right.
Kind of woke me up a little bit, but not enough.
Not enough.
So I continued my vicious cycle, and I then had another child with my same girlfriend, and
your son,
my son Sebastian.
Right.
And still, I didn't stop. You would think by then, I'd be like, all right, let's wise up. I was still very young. I was maybe 21, 22.
You didn't. Where was your father in all this? Because I know I wouldn't want to get to our.
At that point,
guest.
I was under my master's.
Okay, so
tutelage.
Was your father and mother kind of concerned about what they saw?
They were concerned, but I was so out of control and in doing my own thing and so independent.
You don't have any say once they get a certain,
And I think that was difficult for my mother because she was so wanting for me to walk this certain path.
Right.
But it was hard too because my mom had these high expectations of me of being like my father and being a doctor or an attorney or something amazing in her eyes. And I always felt what my father had done I could never reach up to.
Right. You had to find your own path.
Yeah. So having my 2 children and then still going out there and partying, I got another girl who was pregnant, and it was just a mess.
Yeah,
it was a mess.
That's when I came into the picture.
And that's when you came into the picture.
And saw how, you were really hurting. I mean, I got a really first-hand view. I think sometimes ladies think that, well, you guys are heartless and you just party and don't care. But I got to see another side of it. I got to see the consequences of that kind of behavior.
And I got to feel the consequences of my acting out.
I think that's an important thing. And you could speak more of that, than I can in terms of the consequences.
Well, yeah, everything comes with a price.
Yeah.
You wanna live a certain life. There's sacrifices and decisions you have to make, and then they have their pros and their cons.
Right.
My father always used to say, you want to be single? You can be single and answer to no wife, but then you come home alone.
Right.
Or you can be married and have this amazing partner, but it also comes with the work and the ethic of having to develop that relationship.
That's very true. Everything has a trade-off. So then when I came in the picture, then the baby Zaylee wasn't born yet, but she was in the process here. And
I was at my worst.
And
I was scratching at the walls.
At your worst, but if you think back, maybe it was your best.
You know what? It was because I had to really buckle down and say, you know what, Lord, I submit.
Yeah.
Do what you will, because I can't do this alone anymore. And you came alongside me quite a bit because you would listen to me call you in the middle of the night crying, and you would just give me direction, give me structure. And it's something that I needed, I longed for. And if it wasn't for that introduction, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today.
Well, like I tell people, who would have thought someone in martial arts would have taken my packet when I had my CD and my book and knocked on doors? So, and then to me, you are a son. I have 4 sons. And like I told you before, before I got married and had my children, I always said I wanted a son named Joel.
That you did say that.
I did say that, but then the Lord, through through dreams and things, named my sons.
Wow.
You know, so, but then he did give me a son. So I want to concentrate on you being a father, because I know we have an amazing guest today, and I don't want to take from his time. But now I see you as the father of 3.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like being a single dad, because you're not married?
Yeah. You know what? Again, pros and cons. It's an
Yeah.
amazing time with my kids. When we go to dinner and, you know, I say, all right, well, let's pray and thank God for the food we're about to receive and the finances to pay for the food. And people come up to me and say, you have such a beautiful family.
Mhm.
My kids are well behaved.
Yeah, they are.
My older daughter, you know, she has her struggles. She just had a baby, so I'm also a grandfather.
That's right.
Which is Lolita, which I'm grateful for.
Right.
But with these struggles and these challenges, we have to continue to keep submitting.
Well, and then God, I believe God used your children like he used mine to really get a hold of us.
Yes.
Because you couldn't really live the life that you were. I mean, you were kind of going out every now and then, but
Mhm.
you had to really put your money where your mouth was. You couldn't just tell them one thing and then live different.
Exactly. And that's what I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be that father that said,
Right.
listen to what I say but not do what I do. I want you to follow me. I want to
Mhm.
be a leader like I was when I taught, or like when I teach now, even though I teach privately now. I want them to follow by my example, not just by my words. My master used to say, people will follow you first because they fear you, second because they respect you, but third and most important, they'll follow you because they love you. I want my children to follow me because they love me.
Yes.
But they first had to fear me, then respect me, and that evolved into them loving me.
And they and I have seen that, and I see you're still in the process. It's
Yes,
not over
it's
yet.
not over.
You know. Well, I want to thank you for sharing a little bit of that. Like I said, I don't want to rush through.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll get to share more, because there's a whole lot more to the story than just
There really is, and my
what
life
you
hasn't been
shared.
perfect. I
no,
mean,
and I know right now you're waiting for God to bring the right woman in his time.
you know, in his time, I
He
always say,
knows.
God, I want this one, and then
I know I've seen all the ones you pointed out.
and they are gorgeous and they're amazing.
Yep.
But I keep picking them, so maybe I need to let God pick them.
I tell you, it works better. Well,
I hope
anyway.
he does. I want to thank all of you guys listening and viewing for being a part of the joy that we have in our house here. We had a great show for you last week with our guest Shannon James. She was a founder of Beacon for Him Ministries, who actually did a lot for homelessness.
Yes, that was awesome.
What a
Look
testimony!
at all
What
the
a
different,
story!
like I said, the different testimonies. She really wanted to get out there and has been reaching the homeless and growing in her own ministry. So we wish her well.
Mm-hmm. And we have a great guest for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We've been trying to get him on the show for quite a while now.
Yes, we have.
His name is Kevin Flournoy. You're not going to want to miss. This is Joy in My House. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to come right back.
The Southern California chapter of the National Organization of Minority Architects is hosting its 6th annual 3-day summer camp on 3 consecutive Saturdays in August. August 1st, August 8th, and August 15th for young people ages 10 through 16. Campers will enjoy a 1-day field trip to iconic architectural buildings throughout Los Angeles and 2 days of hands-on building design experiences, including how to use a 3-dimensional computer software program. The total cost of the camp is just $100 per camper and includes lunch, snacks, and it lasts all day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more and to register, please go to SoCalNoma.org. That's SoCalNoma.org and click on the Camp Noma page. SoCal Noma, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. Business school is not exclusive to one field, it's universal. Loyola Marymount University's Executive MBA is designed for accomplished working professionals. You will build core business skills required for executive leadership. Classes are held on Saturdays. Earn an accredited degree in just 20 months with LMU's Executive MBA program. No matter what type of field you have chosen for your career, LMU's EMBA will make you a better leader. For more information, visit emba.lmu.edu. Once again, that's emba.lmu.edu. Loyola Marymount University, proud sponsors of Born to Talk with Marcia White-Teka and the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network.
Do you or does someone you know have sickle cell disease? Have you heard about the EPIC study? It's an international research study evaluating an investigational drug aimed at shortening the duration of painful crisis. And with over 50 sites in the U.S., there may be a site near you. To learn more and to find out if the EPIC study is right for you, visit www.theepicstudy.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Join My House, inspirational reality show with a touch of recovery. I'm joined here by author of Shaped by the Master's Hands and my co-host, Lolita Robinson.
Very glad to be here. And again, happy Father's Day to all of you out there and you.
Thank you so much. And our in-studio guest,
right.
Kevin Flournoy, welcome
Good
to the
be
show.
Here. Good to be here.
We always like to let our audience and viewers know how we met. Paul Obel, who is an amazing man and mentor to me, sits on the board of directors of Join My House and is also our talent director for the show. And he's been talking about you for quite a bit some time now. And we've been trying to book you for the show, but I know you're a very busy man. So thanks to Paul, we got you on the show, we booked you, and now you're here. So thank you very much for coming on once again and taking time out of your busy schedule.
Oh yeah, anytime. I'm glad to finally make it.
You live in San Diego, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
What part?
It's Mira Mesa.
Okay.
You've heard of it?
Yeah, I haven't been there, but I've heard. I've been to San Diego, but not that particular section of town. But
a beautiful city.
I bet it is.
Yeah,
I bet it is.
Yeah, it's very quiet. I'm not a fan of San Diego because they moved my daughter to San Diego, so I got to drive there every Friday to pick her up from school and then drive back in primetime traffic to get back to Orange County.
I do the reverse. I drive here for work.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So and for things like this.
There you go. There you go. But it is a beautiful place to grow up. It's very quiet, very serene, and very green. A lot of greenery. It's an amazing.
Exactly. I went to college, and the college overlooks the ocean. UCSD.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes,
so
that's right.
That was the environment
soul.
around studying. I said we used to study calculus down at the beach.
Oh my
Do
God.
homework down there. Yeah, so there's that.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's let our audience and viewers get to know you a little bit, your family of origin. It's always we always say, we want you guys to connect with us. We want you to relate to us. If we just tell you how amazing our lives is when we have challenges and struggles, there'll be a disconnect. But when we're able to share with you, we hope that you take it with a grain of salt and that you also become a part of our joy that we have in our house here on the show. So we're going to start with, you were born in LA, but you were raised in San Diego. Tell us, being born here and why the transition.
Yeah, born in South Central.
Okay.
And so my dad was in the military, so he was in the Marine Corps, so it necessitated us to move around to the different military bases. So lived everywhere from Hawaii, Virginia, all the bases in Barstow. And by the time I was in 3rd grade, I had been in like 7 different schools.
Oh boy,
Wow.
I can relate to that.
You've been there. And so I remember always being introduced. Class, we have a new kid.
That was your name.
That was it.
That was your name.
Yeah, we have a new kid. Here he is. And they had an interesting. I felt like I didn't really talk a lot in school, so I don't think that helped either, because I was never able to formulate relationships long term with other kids. It was like I was there and gone.
How about your siblings, brothers and sisters?
Yeah. So that was good because at that time there was 3 of us. Eventually, there's about 7 of us.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Are you the oldest?
But at that, when I was younger,
Are you the oldest?
No, second to the oldest.
Second to the oldest. Okay.
Yeah, I have an older sister.
Okay.
About 1.5 years older.
All right.
And so when we were moving around, there was 3. I had a younger brother at the time, so it was the 5 of us. My dad had. We used to drive too from here all the way across country. I remember going back and forth. He had that new Mustang '65.
Oh, look at that! What color?
I remember sitting in the back of that, going across country, and and driving to the new spot,
and not knowing that was going to be your life later on touring.
Oh yeah, I never thought it. You connected it because touring. I was on tour. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you being not transferred, but moving from school to school made you very introvert, made you very shy.
And I don't know for sure. I know I was that. I don't know if that was the effect, but I didn't do a lot of talking.
Right.
to talk to anybody.
Were the kids, were you picked on or?
No, I wasn't picked on. I was just, I sat quietly in the back, and they knew, I was good in school, so I had all the answers.
Yeah, you're talking about calculus on the beach. I didn't know what I picked that for.
And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
I'm like, hey,
I had most of the answers.
Should I just?
So the kids figured that out early.
Man.
Oh, he's got this, so they want to be nice to you.
Okay.
Right.
I'm like, okay. I didn't make it through algebra 1.
Well, let's touch on your music, because this is your profession now, and we're going to touch on your amazing accolades. But when did you get introduced to music? Because your father was a musician.
Yes, so he played trombone for the Marine Corps band.
Wow.
And so when when he was stationed in Hawaii, I used to watch him in the parades, because the trombones, they marched the first rank. The first one's out, and we would sit on the side and watch. So consequently, it's serious in the military. You practice and you read, and there's no I'm gonna do it by ear. No.
That's
you
it.
got to get it. You got to get it.
That's true.
So he studied music, and I remember seeing his music theory books. So when I was about 6, 7, I learned how to read and write and everything.
You taught yourself?
No.
Oh, okay.
From the books, and
but you kind of had that.
I had
the
both.
talent right there.
Sometimes you have both. In other words, I was able to play by ear,
right,
and hear stuff and play it, and then I learned how to read also.
I love it. I love it. My brother is a bass player, Osama, and that's the thing we always tell the kids. It's good to do both. Don't you think so?
Yes, it helps. It helped me now professionally, because I get hired for a lot of things where, like last night,
and I
have to read.
Okay,
so we're talking, or else I don't get the gig.
You don't get the gig if you can't sight read. That's true.
That opens up a whole nother,
Well,
thing.
let's touch on that, because we've been missing each other back and forth all week.
Yes.
I always like to create a rapport with our guests before they come on,
and
we didn't have that. But last night I said, just call me when you can. In between a set, he calls me for about 10-15 minutes, and I got to hear his story. And he tells me, he's like, I gotta go back. They want me for this set. And I'm like, you're performing right now? He's like, yeah, I gotta go. So he comes this morning, and he's setting up for his live performance today, and he starts telling me, because I admire, and I'm always in awe of musicians, because I have no musical talent, that you had to go play some jazz music, and this is music that you didn't know. Tell us what that's like.
So I didn't start playing jazz until college. So I started studying the art, and it's no joke.
Did you study classical? Is that where you started?
Yeah, when you start young, the teacher comes over, you're playing classical. You're playing. They're not coming for the jazz. They're gonna teach you the classics. And so in college, I started that whole thing was in the big band. And so what it is about last night is that it was Jonathan. He was singing. He sings a lot of Frank Sinatra and that sort of thing.
Like that.
There's a grand piano. It was at the Westgate Hotel downtown.
Wow.
Very
beautiful.
beautiful,
prestigious
there's that,
hotel.
and then the string bass. So there's all that, and the music goes hand in hand with that. I don't get to play that type of music as much because I don't make my living doing that.
Right.
But I come from that.
Okay.
And
there
so he's singing a lot of obscure songs that I've never heard.
Oh my goodness.
And so he has a book, and he puts the book in front of me, and they count it off. And you have to perform like you can't let them know that you don't know the song. And then there's a thing about that's when I use my ears. Because there's an intro and an ending that I'm not sure what's going to happen, but you would never know.
Right. There you go. But you said it. You have to be able to have both. Because some people, like I tried to do piano, my ear got in the way. But I wish I did learn how to read.
Yeah,
but I
didn't.
Can
look at it.
Yeah, but you can look at it. You can do it both. And so I obviously went off without a hitch.
Yes. it was great. Now, I don't know without a hitch, because there's things that happen that you might not know, but we know.
Right.
Oops.
Well, I wanted to touch on this because this is interesting, because when you went to high school, you didn't want to join the band.
No, I wasn't.
You were reluctant, but your parents forced you.
It was
Tell me why.
A byproduct of that. I wasn't being quiet, and I didn't want to be seen or heard from.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was fine.
That is so awesome. I feel the same way. I hate singing, but I can do it.
These performers, I don't know what to say. So many people beg to go up on stage, and you guys are the ones that have the talent, and you should be on stage. Are the ones like, no, I'll pass on that.
No, so they had the whole band program, marching band, jazz, and I didn't want to have anything because I started at 7 playing guitar.
Wow.
So I learned at home, and then I graduated to the organ later, which started my keyboard experience. Wow. And in high school, there's no organs, so I just started playing by ear on the piano. Then I started taking classical lessons.
Good for you.
And so I would start writing. That's where my writing started. So I started writing, but my interest in being in a big band, it just wasn't there. And so I remember, I think I was in 9th grade, and my parents sat me down. You're going to join the band. I was like, I don't know.
Oh, not me.
I don't know.
Well, what about the other siblings? Were they musicians at all?
Yeah, at a point, since my dad took us to a music store, and it was at that time there was 3 of us. He said, "Pick something."
Oh, I love it.
You will be rehearsing that. You'll be playing that.
Military band.
And I picked the guitar. My sister picked the organ. My brother picked the drum.
Okay.
And then an hour a day, every day.
Wow.
Because he was a military man, he was structured. He taught
very structured.
But he sounds like he was a very loving man.
Very. Yeah, so great with the family and very supportive even to this day.
Yeah, sounds like that. So it's important for a father to give that kind of structure. Even if your child doesn't want to play an instrument, you suggest that they do so?
Now, because my other brothers and sisters didn't go on professionally in that, but that structure goes along with you in whatever else you can do.
Absolutely.
And so my older sister teaches. She's teaches at Mesa College.
Okay.
And she's a dance instructor there.
Wow.
And has classes. She did her master's degree at UC Irvine. And it's that structure that provided.
Very good. Kept you guys off the streets.
Yes.
So I'm sure Howell's going to ask you about any
because
challenges.
I was born in South Central, so I have cousins, and it's not the stories aren't the same.
They're not.
Right.
Yeah, and I've had a cousin that's my same age who's no longer with us because of that structure not being there. The father wasn't there.
And see how beautiful. A lot of people, we haven't had a lot of people on our show who have had the fathers there that have been in South Central. So praise the Lord that you had that experience. It's very important.
Yes.
Which I'm sure shaped what you're going to share later.
And what we're going to touch on is by the end of the high school year.
So he got in the band, right?
Well, he got in the band, but that's not all that happened. He ended up being one of the most popular kids in school.
You know how they give those awards at the end. Most likely to succeed, all that.
Okay.
And so, that was it. And then I ended up I was conducting the marching band and the drum major.
Wow.
So I'm twirling out the parades.
No, you were.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a whole different thing for me.
Oh, wow.
And of course, I liked it. And I what I did in high school too is learned how to play every instrument, just at least a little bit, learn a scale to understand how it helped me write and compose.
Right. Wow.
So I would get on the trombone or the saxophones and just figure out and sit with them while they play.
Because
then I wrote a composition, which was at 12. Yeah, I was able to.
Isn't that
I did my own composition and performed it and directed it as a senior.
Wow.
So sometimes God can give us talents, but you didn't even know the depth of what you could do. You didn't even know.
No.
But by stepping out.
I wasn't trying to find out.
I'm trying to make it all spiritual. He's like, no, I wasn't even that. Don't even go there.
Well, I wanted to touch on, because after high school, you went straight to university, UCSD.
Yes, UCSD.
What I thought was interesting because of the structure, and I think the foundation that your family gave you, you finished and double majored and minored electrical engineer, and then minored in music.
Science.
Wow. Man. Does it get any better than this?
Well, it does. It does.
That is incredible.
But tell us about the college life. Tell us about how that was.
I have to say, people ask me about college. I say that was the worst years of my life.
Really? Why?
I mean, nothing against the college experience,
right?
But the pressure that some of it I put on myself.
Okay, to achieve.
And to achieve. And it was too much because I was trying to do both. I was in the music and was fighting against the engineering, and I was taking both because I wasn't decided about exactly what I was going to do, but I was great in math, and of course I pursued the music. That's when I got into jazz, joined the big band. I was Professor Cheatham there, and that was a spiritual journey because I learned.
Let's talk about that.
What I learned there, and my buddy, his name Brett, we used to kind of hide from the professor. We see him on campus because he would tell us to come in, and he had these talks with us. He would sit us down and he would start talking about music in terms of childbirth and just these other things that was just deep. And we were 18, like, what? and about inhale and exhale and the way you play music and the spiritual, how you should feel about it, and and the healing process of it.
And you
And
guys
we're
were like,
thinking,
what planet is he on?
And he would catch us and say, I need to see you too in the office. I have some more. And that stuff has gotten me so much work, what he taught me. Because what he would teach us is the how to think of music in terms of space. So what happens with musicians when you become very proficient, you play too much. And you're trying to say too much.
Right.
Your
Thank
ego's
you.
in it.
Oh.
And even professionals that are out there making money,
Oh.
there's still a lot of playing
I
as
cannot
opposed to
take
letting
that.
it breathe.
Yes.
And the breathing is a natural process that we do inhale and exhale. So when you hear that, you're attracted to it. And he would teach us, and I was telling somebody last night, in the big band there'd be like 2 or 3 keyboard players or piano players, and we would play. There's a song arrangement called Wind Machine, a very fast tune. And when you're young, you learn and you get excited and you just want to play everything you know
And loud.
on your solo.
Fast and loud.
Fast and loud.
Yeah.
And I would be halfway and he would say, stop. He said, what are you doing? He would say, what are you doing? And then he'd say, get up, go sit down on the chair. I'm going to have this other guy come play
Wow.
it. And he would ask, this in front of the class. Some of the students
Wow.
would drop the class because they would be embarrassed
Right.
and not be able to take us to their ego. Because they would come in from the high school being the all-star
Right.
trumpet player, and he would say, you don't know anything about anything. He would tell
But that
them.
is a lesson.
You know
Yes.
what? That is so true, because sometimes working with singers, they think being loud, it's like anything. It's like color. It's like painting. It's like blues, reds, but it's like throwing paint.
Palette.
Yeah, that is just amazing. So he had you sit down.
Yeah, until I figured, and then he would ask you, well, who are you listening to? Because it's not the right people, whoever. and I gravitated toward Count Basie, which was, he dealt with a lot, especially in the later years. He would come on the piano, the band swinging, and he would cling, cling, to a couple notes, and in the right place at the right time. And that's the concept. So when I start playing with vocalists, whether it's Gladys Knight or they hear the reason why you get the job, because they hear that they can sing and they like the way you sound.
Yeah, you do, and you're going behind them, and you're not trying to overpower them.
And that's where that comes from, though.
Wow.
But I wanted to talk about that
That
because
is so amazing. I want to sit here and just.
well, what was interesting is some of the
Wow.
guests that you got to meet and learn from because of this instructor, and I want to touch on that because this is amazing.
Yeah, so
Little did you
But don't
know.
forget to tie it in why it was so hard during this time too. So tie all that
Oh, yeah,
in.
yeah.
You're getting all that in.
Get all that in. But
Yeah.
the professor came from that clique of musicians back in the day with the Cotton Club, New York.
Oh boy, so
And
they
so
knew.
he would invite his buddies over, which include Miles Davis.
Wow.
And when I was 15, I was in the program Affirmative Action, because what they used to go out and seek those who had the talent and help
Right.
you realize that you can come here.
Right,
And so
right.
I had an audition. I was 15, and the professor and 2 of them came to the house, and they just sat there to play something on the piano, and I was nerve-wracking. I said, okay. And so at that time, he invited me to my first concert, which was Count Basie. And he had me meet and talk to him, and I sat in the room and talked to him, and it was an amazing process. And also Max Roach. And I got to talk to him, talking to him, and they would tell you stories about how they came up with the standards, and and it was just a whole
That's a whole
experience.
a whole experience that people are not coming up with today. Those standards,
The standards,
It's kind of like they say with ballet. Ballet is the foundation of all dance.
Yes.
So classical is probably, and standards is, once you get that foundation, I believe you can probably do anything.
Yeah,
Would you
with
say
the
that?
classical, yes.
Oh my goodness! And then you had
Classical.
the rich teaching of these
Yeah,
proteges before you.
It was
Wow!
incredible that I've got to, and not just play with them, but sit there
And listen.
hear them talk about music and their experiences and their struggles. I had Max Rose telling me stories of his struggle. He was friends with Miles Davis, and Miles had the drug thing, and he was struggling. He said sometimes he would call Miles Davis, and Miles would say, "Well, who's this?" He said, "Well, I've been your friend for like, I'm your friend. I don't feel like talking to you." He's just like very moody situation.
So this business is serious too. It's got both sides. So were you struggling
Yeah,
emotionally through all of this, trying to figure out who you were during
and
this
you talking
too?
about in terms of the college
Well,
experience?
the college experience with the music and the engineering, and
Actually,
then
we're
having
gonna
all this.
we're gonna touch on that when he
Will
comes
we?
to LA. That's what we're gonna touch
Okay.
on.
Okay, he's not.
Good.
Where is
Where
he
he
now?
struggles.
I'm so
We're still in
caught
San
up.
Diego.
He's still in San Diego.
I'm so caught
I
up
haven't
in the
left
story.
yet. I haven't moved.
well, so let's get to
He's
that.
really good because he
because
keeps.
I have
He
to
knows
kinda
I get all
keep
happy.
informed. But I wanted to talk about because right after college, you graduate, minor in music.
Okay.
You have your engineering degree. You had a job waiting for you and opening right out of college.
Right.
But you had to make a decision whether you're going to follow your job, the engineering, or were you going to follow your passion.
Right.
And you had a conversation with your mother.
Yeah, and it's actually involved both my parents, but my mother made a statement about it. And so, so I did an internship at a company called Teledyne Ryan Electronics. It was this advanced system. Yeah, Teledyne. And I was working on projects for NASA, and it was some heavy stuff. And I did 2 years, junior year and senior year. So of course I developed a relationship with them. When I graduated, they sent me an offer. They called and offered me. And back then I remember the number. He said, "We're gonna give you $40,000 to start." And I basically have my office, my own office, the whole bit.
Wow. And your father being a military man, I can only guess which way he was leaning. I want to play the piano with Miles Davis.
It's kind of interesting because my like my dad and my mom very into the arts, so I've always kind of support
That's
there.
right, because he's a musician too.
So
That's
it
right.
wasn't any conflict with that.
Wow, you're lucky.
Yeah, because normally,
Blessed,
most of the stories I hear, there's a conflict there.
There wasn't.
I got the support, and what my mom said, I said I got to call somebody back because I got an offer from, it was RCA Records actually, to do some demo work, first record deal. I had a group.
Wow.
They liked my music and singers. I had the whole bit going on. And so I had to decide whether I'm going to move to LA and pursue that or go to the job.
Wow.
And
That's a hard
I guess
one.
you see where I am.
I see where you are. Wow. Did you ever regret it? I guess not, huh?
Well, no, this is where I wanted to touch on because I think this is where the struggle comes in. He moves out to LA and the doors just don't fly open. You had some opportunities, but it was a grind here. Let's talk about some of the challenges, and you'll probably be able to relate out there, those of you who are listening and viewing, some of the challenges in order to become successful in this business or almost to just last the sands of time to get those opportunities. Let's talk about that.
I was going to say that word because I thought about perseverance because that was the main thing. Who lasts the longest? Because I see people falling out and giving up or going, not so much giving up, but they have this thing about the fallback. You know, I'm going to do this over here. And it's one thing to do it just to survive, but there's another thing where it gets in the way of you being able to do all this other stuff.
Exactly. You mean like families or
yeah, even it could be families,
or,
the marriage stuff that I end up postponing.
Okay.
So I can focus on what I need to focus on.
It's true.
And it's
Some
a sacrifice.
people say you can do it all, but this lady was talking. You could do it all, but at different times, not all at once. So you stayed in the grind.
I stayed in there, and I have to say it took a long time because I moved up to L.A. and nobody knows you.
Oh no!
And so it's about your talent at that time. So I started playing everywhere.
Say that again. At that time.
At that time, yes.
Very well said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so people are seeing you play here and there, and other place. Like one of the breaks I got. Aside from the fact that I got endorsed by my jazz professor, so when I first came up, there was a jazz group from Pasadena that I played with, but that call was made, let this boy play,
right.
you know?
Yeah,
we give him a little something,
right.
But that wasn't a major situation, but it was still, I was surrounded by musicians that I can grow from, and he ended up being a mentor in terms of my production in Pasadena, Nolan. But what direction we was talking
the
about
struggle and the challenges.
Oh, the struggle. So it took. I'll say it took almost 10 years.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time when you think about it.
It's very long.
Not that I wasn't doing anything. The first 5 years was almost desolate. And desolate means I'm doing a gig here or there, but it's not enough to make a living.
And the phone is not, and the phone's not ringing.
And and it's just occasional.
Right.
And I'm doing things, but it's just not enough.
Right.
It's not enough.
Right.
About the 6th, 7th, 8th year, interesting things started happening in terms of who I'm dealing with, I'm playing with, but it's not enough financially, but it's become more interesting.
So what were you? So you had to get another job, right?
No. But what happened with me is before I left San Diego, I had gigs in San Diego that I established myself playing.
Okay, so you'd go back down and do gigs.
And I worked for 10 years at the San Diego Repertoire Theater as a musical director. So I had stuff that I can do.
See how it is? That's beautiful.
Yeah, because I got
You
training.
can't be too proud and arrogant. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know, so you still had that going, but you still followed your passion.
Now, as a keyboard player, you're very hireable.
You sure are.
You're the first call, basically.
Yeah, you are.
So I would always have somebody was always singing or doing something.
Right,
And
right.
so, but if I had played drums or the cowbell, I'd be in trouble.
You can play the cowbell now.
Waiting for that call, right? It's a little harder.
What would you say to somebody out there maybe listening and viewing who's maybe just in that grind right now,
Yeah.
in the midst of being challenged and not having that phone ring all the time? What would you say to them regarding perseverance?
In my personal situation, I was talking about being excellent. Every single time I see people, they're excellent sometime and they don't feel like it the next time. That doesn't work.
There
That
you go.
time that you didn't feel like it, that could have been it.
Somebody was
Right.
out there, right?
And I tell them about my story. One time I didn't want a friend asked me to go out to a place where they're doing spoken word in L.A. And this at the beginning of my career. I was playing, at the time I started playing with Ronnie Laws.
Oh my goodness.
And that was one of my first things.
Yeah, Ronnie, yeah.
You know Ronnie?
Yeah, I do. Not
And-
personally, but I know of him.
But I hadn't cracked into the pop thing yet.
Right.
Or the R&B circuit. And so she and it was two of them, a drummer friend of mine and a singer, said, come to this place and hang. I wasn't much on hanging, so I feel like I had so much to do.
Yeah.
Because I haven't made it. I got
Yeah,
a
I
whole
got
list
time
of
for
things. I
this.
got time for it. And she said, come on out,
Ronnie,
come
she's
out.
great.
And I said, okay, I'll come out. And I came out, and then they said, get up there and play. Because you could just play behind the spoken word while they're reciting something, just
And
play
it's
some
the
jazz.
worst when you don't feel like it, isn't it?
No, and I said,
Oh,
and then
man.
finally I went up and played a little jazz behind somebody speaking some words.
You're probably
And-
thinking, what?
so
Oh,
yeah,
God.
whatever, you know. And then on the way back from the stage, I got approached by Tina Marie's management.
Oh, no, you
and
didn't.
I ended up playing with her for 3 years.
Oh, wow. Square biz.
And I was like, I didn't even do anything. I wasn't really getting down. I was just
See?
playing. But they was looking for a vibe.
See, and you had that vibe.
And the vibe, that's a big deal too.
Yeah, it is.
I have to say,
Yeah.
sometimes musicians, they get angry with their situation, and it's hard because it's hard. It's a struggle, but you don't want to project that
No,
through
you
your
don't.
music or
No.
to other people, because that affects who they pick.
Wow. And you had still, you were able to be the pro that you were. You can't let what you're feeling. You got to get up there and be
And there's
professional.
a lot of emotions involved. Yeah,
and
there.
you got up there and look what happened.
Yeah.
That's a huge door.
And I kind of felt, in terms of judgment, sometimes people judge you by what you have, and to me, what I have is inside and my talent and the spirit and what God gift they gave me. But they're looking at what kind of car are you, especially in L.A.
Right.
What are you driving? You got the latest duds on.
Okay.
And that was never the case especially the first 10 years. Well, I wasn't really worried about it, but it seemed like everybody else was.
Yeah, they were. And the stuff that makes absolutely no sense. But once you got up there, and I'll show you what I've got.
Yeah.
Okay,
I said,
yeah.
I said, yeah.
Well, I want to touch on some of your accolades because I don't want to take too much time from your live performance, but you've performed with the Pointer Sisters, Donny Osmond.
I love
Donnie. Yeah,
Oh, you
she
do?
loves Donny Osmond. That's why I kind of took my time with that one.
Wow.
I love the others too,
knew?
but
Who
Donnie
knew?
is my man.
Who knew?
Donnie Warmack, Gladys Knight, Shaka Khan. And let's talk about that because you're currently working with her right now.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool.
Well, actually, I finished a role with her. It was about a year, 2013 and 14 with Shaka, and that was those experiences are always amazing because I tell people when I was in high school, I was listening to
Right?
listening to
know.
those songs.
She probably didn't want to hear that though.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. I was listening to you in high school
On a record.
on a record. And, yeah,
A lot of
I
finesse
didn't
in
say,
class.
yeah, you gotta, yeah. and to be actually, and my first experience with that was I don't know if you remember the group, The Emotions.
Yes, I do.
And so my first
Flowers. They did
exper-
flowers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Don't Ask My Neighbor. The hit
Yeah,
songs.
the emotions. Yeah.
And so the thing with my first realization of I'm here now is that there was a rehearsal for them. I had gotten into the group and I'm playing the piano. Now as a piano player, sometimes they gather around the piano to learn their parts.
Yeah, they do.
And so there was just 3 of them and they started singing, it's perfect.
Perfect harmony.
And I was just playing, and it was a song I grew up with in high school, and I was like, wow. And I continue to have those experiences. Like we used to, with Gladys Knight, we rehearsed at her place in Vegas, and she would come downstairs, and she would sit next to me, and she had
Gladys, that's my
and she
girl
would get
too.
the mic, and she's singing half voice, and we're doing Midnight
And
Train
that
to
woman
Georgia,
can just-
and she's just everything's so perfect, and you're playing, it's like, wow, I've been listening to this when I was in high school.
You know what's so beautiful and refreshing about you is that you are so personable and so down home. I can feel the spirit of the Lord in you.
Thanks.
That's what I am so blessed by. I am so blessed to see that you have this talent that God has given you. You are using it to your fullest to glorify Him, but you are so friendly and loving. I mean, you really are.
Well,
that's
it's
important.
It really is. In order,
Isn't it?
especially when you have to work with you, or you have
gosh.
you know, especially the time that you spend with somebody on these big projects. It's really important that you have that personality and that you're likable and that you're approachable.
Oh my God, I can't stand
because
the arrogance. You must come across a lot of that, the arrogance.
Oh yeah,
you know.
in this business all the time.
And I wanted to touch on this business because you produce for Donny Osmond, Hilary Duff, Jamie Foxx, many more.
Well, you know, the Jamie Foxx, those are actually, what they do is they do a lot of pre-demo work for a lot of these artists before they get their major deals. So I was involved in a lot of that with Hillary and Jamie. Actually, I was roommates. When I moved to LA.
She's from the Disney? Is that Hillary Duff?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So when she first was getting ready to get her deal, and they decided, this was back, you know, you remember her on Disney.
Yeah, Lizzie. Or
and so
Lizzie
their whole
McGuire,
thing, the whole formula there was to take all that success there and translate it into a music career. And so I was called to she was sent over, have her sing on something because she didn't have anything. Sing on something. She got a big record company meeting. She already pretty much has the deal. She just has to have some music.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was involved in that pre-work, you know, putting that together, producing and working with her. Same thing with Jamie. You know, we was roommates when we first moved to LA.
Oh, how
so I know he kept your
so
side
I did
cracking.
we was
He's
doing
hilarious.
music. Yeah, we was doing all kind of music, you know, writing and stuff. Yeah,
brother.
And he's a great writer.
You.
Yeah, great writer.
Congratulations.
And so that was my beginning. When I first came to LA.
That's amazing because you also were a part of season 1. American Idol, and you were the band.
That was interesting.
And that is interesting because when you first launched that first season, it's not what you feel like now. It's not the same feeling as when they have millions and millions of viewers and listeners and audience. This is when it first came out. What was that like?
And so we didn't get the call until it was halfway. The season was over because they were doing pre-recordings, and which I did some of that too on the first season, where you go to the studio and they bring all the singers and you play. And halfway through, the producers felt, let's kick this up to a live situation. And it was toward the end, you know, where they have the final 10 or 15.
Right.
And so there's a big show at MGM, Las Vegas, live. And
what did it feel like?
They already knew Kelly Clarkson was winning. She already had won.
That girl.
And so they got the band together.
So they already knew before the audio?
No, it's just that they were at the point where they had the envelope. They knew she had won.
Right.
And they wanted to do those post shows where they have they bring back the 10 singers and it's kind of like setting up the tour type thing. And so they brought the band in, and I got a call. I remember getting a call from a friend, and he worked a bass player. He was playing with Natalie Cole. And he said, you want to do this show, American Idol? I said, I guess, you know.
See how it is? See? Now, what if you had if you hadn't done that spoken word?
Sounds good. Sounds good. What time, you know? And who knew, you know? Who knew? So I was in there, and there was this style. So they did this shooting, and it aired on TV. It was a 2-hour special, and we played the songs. You know, we did the band thing, and Kelly did her big song, and it was Justin. That was the runner-up. I remember that. And so it was kind of interesting. The most interesting thing to me was to see the contestants as for the first time of them coming into the rehearsal room to sing their songs with a band, and they've never played with a live band before.
Wow.
It was a couple started crying. It was an emotional experience because it was overwhelming. And I was thinking, what's wrong with them?
It's like
we do this all the time.
Yeah,
this is what we do.
You just sing. That's all. You know the song.
Well, you must have felt like that a little bit when your career started. And I want to get to your Father's Day stuff too. But you must have felt like that when you started going up to bigger levels, bigger doors.
Yes.
You must have had kind of like, whoa, maybe not crying, but.
Yeah, there's moments like I remember when I got I did a tour with Dionne Warwick in England.
Now that's who I came up with.
That's really?
That's who influenced me.
So
I love her.
We were out there about 5-6 weeks in the UK, and what they do is they send me the music first, so I can study the music, and that's when I'm kind of getting into that thing where I'm playing the music, and I was like, and we're playing "That's What Friends Are For" because you're playing all the hits,
right?
And it's like, wow, it's a wild time.
It's surreal,
but it's business. I have to get it done,
right,
because I need to be excellent when I hit the stage,
right?
But there's that too,
yeah.
It's like, wow.
That's probably with them, yeah.
And these artists have done so much. One of the shows we did with Dionne Warwick is about her life. So she goes through and talks about when she first got in the business, Burt Bacharach, the first song that hit all the way down to the Solid Gold.
Oh, Solid
all,
Gold,
all of that.
Yeah.
And she'll tell stories in between the song, and we play her whole life through.
Oh, man.
And that was one of the shows
What
we
an
did.
amazing opportunity, huh?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well, I want to touch on this before we go to our commercial
Yes.
break and when your live performance. But during this time, you had a daughter.
Yes.
And because of circumstances, and not going to get into them, you gained full custody of your daughter.
Yes.
And I'm just going to fast forward it being today Father's Day.
How old was she when you got her?
4.
4, okay.
Well, she is now
17.
a performer
Yes,
Wow.
and a graduate.
Yeah, she's graduated this year.
And she's going where?
Accepted to Boston University.
Wow.
I think that's
That
the
is
most pride. That's the most. She's gonna be like, I don't want to jump up. I don't want to get. Yep. She's this. She's this. No, that's awesome. That's the most important.
As we celebrate, you know,
Wow.
Father's Day, every day should be a celebration for us as fathers. But
Yeah.
what an amazing man you have been to be there by your side for your daughter.
Was that hard
sacrifices
too?
that you made.
Are you gonna go to a commercial break?
I am gonna go to a commercial
Okay.
break. But all the sacrifices you made for her to now have the opportunity. I mean, I can see. What a blessing. What a blessing.
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joy in My House. I want you to stay tuned because we're going to come right back with the live performance by Kevin. You're not going to want to miss. This is Joy in My House. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to come right back.
Oh, okay.
SoCal NOMA, the Southern California chapter of the National Organization of Minority Architects, is hosting its 6th annual 3-day summer camp on 3 consecutive Saturdays in August. August 1st, August 8th, and August 15th for young people ages 10 through 16. Campers will enjoy a 1-day field trip to iconic architectural buildings throughout Los Angeles and 2 days of hands-on building design experiences, including how to use a 3-dimensional computer software program. The total cost of the camp is just $100 per camper and includes lunch, snacks, and it lasts all day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more and to register, please go to SoCalNOMA.org. That's SoCalNOMA.org and click on the Camp NOMA page. SoCal NOMA, proud sponsors of LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. Business school is not exclusive to one field, it's universal. Loyola Marymount University's Executive MBA is designed for accomplished working professionals. You will build core business skills required for executive leadership. Classes are held on Saturdays. Earn an accredited degree in just 20 months with LMU's Executive MBA program. No matter what type of field you have chosen for your career, LMU's EMBA will make you a better leader. For more information, visit emba.lmu.edu. Once again, that's emba.lmu.edu. Loyola Marymount University, proud sponsors of Born to Talk with Marcia White-Tekka and the LA Talk Live Broadcast Network.
Do you or does someone you know have sickle cell disease? Have you heard about the EPIC study? It's an international research study evaluating an investigational drug aimed at shortening the duration of painful crisis. And with over 50 sites in the U.S., there may be a site near you. To learn more and to find out if the EPIC study is right for you, visit www.theepicstudy.com.
I thank the Lord for a brand so glad about it. Look at me, tell me what do you see? Someone who's got victory. For I have found solid ground and I'm glad about it. I'm so glad about it. The time has come for me to say His will be done each and every day. He saved my soul, He made me whole, and I'm glad about it. I'm so glad about it. I'm glad about it. I'm glad about it. I'm glad about it. And I'm glad about it. I'm so glad about it. For I have found a love that's true. For I have found a love that's new. Someone who cares, someone to share, and I'm
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Join My House, inspirational reality radio show with a touch of recovery. A reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who shares.
Joined here by my co-host and recording artist, Lolita Robinson.
Well, I'm having a wonderful Father's Day. This is awesome.
And our in-studio guest, Kevin Flournoy, is going to do a live performance today, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Kevin on Join My House. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Flournoy, Dream Your Dream Again. Is that correct?
Wow, beautiful. Is that original?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's
Kevin,
beautiful.
pick up the mic. I want to kind of continue the interview this way. Now, this is an inspirational piece that you wrote.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So I have, as most artists have, we have a dream project or situation that we, takes years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But part of mine has always been to write music that's inspirational, like a whole record.
Mm-hmm.
It's inspirational. I love pop music, so that was the chords to a pop song, and it has lyrics to it. Mm-hmm. And I like to share, a verse, a chorus with you about what the lyrics are about. But it's part of a compilation. I've written about 10 songs.
Wow.
And they similar to that. Some different styles. I have some that are a little bluesier, but yeah, most of them inspiration and just pretty music.
Gorgeous music, and just made me want to cry.
Oh,
absolutely beautiful. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
professional
Yeah.
through and through. Well, we like to ask you this. The name of the show is called Joy in My House. The premise is the joy that we have in the midst of our praise, in the midst of our struggles, challenges, in the midst of our successes. What does joy in my house mean to you in today's day and age, Kevin?
Yeah, I heard you talk about something at the beginning. You used the word peace and comfort. And especially with the family, in my family, the serenity inside is something I fight for because there's so much chaos around me. And joy is an offshoot of laughter. So I keep people around that laugh a lot.
You do.
And even with my daughter, it's a thing about when I hear the laughter when she was younger, I know, okay, we're good. We're good. And
That's
I continue to hear the laughter even to this day. And so I want my life to be joyful. So I have to continue to feed my spiritual base. And it's a struggle because of all the influence and all the different things you can get into. And especially in this business.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, we would like for you to
Gosh,
close
it's
out the show
awesome.
with a little bit more of your music, so we can have
Thank
another.
you for coming, Kevin. It's beautiful.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Flournoy on Joy in My House. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen, on Joy in My House, Kevin Flournoy. For more information, I want you to go to kevinflournoy.com, or you can visit his Facebook at Kevin Flournoy. That's KEVINFLOURNOY on Facebook. Become a fan his page, and receive up-to-date lineups of guests and information and what he's doing currently. Join us next week here on Joy in My House with our in-studio guest, Jamie Gomez from NBC series Nash Bridges, with our guest co-host Paul Lobo. You're not going to want to miss. This is Joy in My House. You guys have a blessed day.